Sunshine.
Wisdom is the wise word spoken by the wise man. Wisdom is also symbolic to the black woman. Long natural hair, short with the waves. I give a shout out to my sisters with the curly braids. They call it 4C, we call it 9-ether. She suffer autoimmune and formed alopecia. So keep a black woman's name out your mouth. I will slap her brains out his scalp. They on demon time, she on guard time. Let's take a walk, we gon' see what's on the goddess mind. She said she working on healing from her past trauma. Police killed her dad and shit went bad for her mama. Drug addicted, she neglected her brothers and sisters. She never felt beautiful cause she was dark-skinned. That's heartbreaking, ain't it? But darling ain't complaining, she on a queen of fool. She know the woman's sacred, divine feminine with spice like cinnamon. She only want that strong masculine but still a gentleman.
Daytime, nighttime, her skin glow like sunshine. Cocoa, honey and gold, sprinkling a little bit of sunshine. Daytime, nighttime, her skin glow like sunshine. Cocoa, honey and gold, sprinkling a little bit of sunshine.
She only seen on the 7th and the 25th. That's why she tastes like nectar. Give me kiss. Not every black woman is a goddess, but if you got one, then I can make you a promise. The weapons might form against you, but none will prosper. If you got her, she'll elevate you to your highest chakra. She the mother, she the healer, she the oracle. That's why I'm comfortable near her, I could be vulnerable. We all came to this world through the sacred womb, including every last king in the ancient tomb. So how could they assume that she ghetto, she ratchet, when she inspired every trend that came into fashion? Yeah, God stunned when he made that. Keep it 100, I don't want it if it ain't black. I go to war with you, I'm on the front line. We gon' be just fine, cause you my sunshine.
Daytime, nighttime, her skin glow like...
Peace, this is the Black Dot, father, author, writer, poet, MC, one half of the dynamic duo, the #1 father and son podcast, Urban X TV. I am super excited about the new release, The Master's Table, by Sincere Love the God and RP Beats. This album is going to be crazy. It's the follow-up to The Spear and The Shield. Already know what time it is. It's got some dope pieces on it. You're gonna love it. Also on the album is yours truly, the Black Dot. So you wanna go to the Masters RSVP and secure your copy now. They got a bundle package. You get a backdrop, you get a poster, you get the digital download, you get the physical copy, you get a hoodie. The whole process is really crazy. So RSVP to Masters RSVP, and you can get that dope album, I Sincere Love the God and RP Beats, The Master's Table. You will never be disappointed at how dope this project is going to be. Peace.
Have a seat at the master's table. We ain't asked for no seat. We went and built up our own. You see, it's rather stable. You got 2 eyes, 2 ears, you know the rest. Look, listen, and observe, but also respect. In God we trust. It's obvious. The money ain't the root of all evil, but lack thereof. That's why they deprive you of resources. Why they focus on streams of income, at least 3 sources. We certified, we solidified. And they say they created hip-hop, but all that shit is lies. Cause every element came before the development of what we callin' hip-hop now. It's all relevant to all the topics we gon' touch on. Spoiler alert, as you play this album, ain't no club songs. Boy, that hurt, but this ain't no conscious album. It's just that real shit, that Black God mantra album. I hope y'all feel this.
Peace, God.
Hey, Dad. He's so good.
Hey, man, I got you a new book.
A new book?
Check it out. Check it out. Let me know how you like it. I'll be back. Man, this Bitcoin, this Ethereum ain't doing nothing for me right now, man. Gotta find some new investments.
Peace, God. What you doing?
Peace, God. Good.
I think this book is kind of inappropriate.
Inappropriate? Well, what's up with it?
It's inappropriate because look at these.
LGBT. Oh, man, I'm sorry about that, God.
I accept your apology.
Man, it's a shame, man. Can't even find no decent books for you nowadays without having to have these difficult conversations.
I have an idea. Maybe we should make a series of our own book.
A book series? That is a good idea.
7 volumes.
7, I get it. 7 volumes. What should we call it?
7 the Super Hey Rule.
7 the Perfect. 7 the Super Hey Rule.
And then maybe we could even make some bundles of it once we get to volume 3.
Oh, see, now you're thinking like a businessman. I like that idea, man. A foundational Black American children's series.
Perfect.
Visit www.godcastbooks.com and pre-order your book today.
Can y'all hear me? I don't hear nothing. There we go. I think I can see you. Hey, Kay.
How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pick Me Godcast with my beautiful co-host, Sister Kay Jones, who's out in ATL. She's on a little vacation, kind of work vacation kind of thing. I wish I was there. So today we are going to bring another episode of the Pick Me Godcast to you guys. And we have another great guest that's going to be co-hosting the show with us this evening. And I will be giving the details of her shortly. But I just kind of wanted to talk about what the Pick Me Godcast is. And I'm going to be reading because I don't know about verbatim. But the Pick Me Godcast looks to bring some much needed balance to the conversation surrounding relationships between Black men and women by bringing honest, no holds barred discussions from the perspective of single Black women as well as married Black women who still believes in the Black man and desires to build strong Black families. Be one, Black. I don't know if I can say Black enough. This is about strong Black families. I want to just say that over and over if I can. Also, a pick me girl, a vanguard of Black love, one who is dedicated to rebuilding the Black family structure. So if anybody is confused about what the Pick Me Godcast is about, there you have it. So without further ado, we are going to be joined tonight by our sister in love, our B1 sister who puts in that work as well. She's a reparationist, right? I follow her on Twitter. If you have not or are not following her, you should at Just Eve. That's who we're going to be doing the show with, Just Eve today. She's a reparationist. She has a online school program that she's going to be hosting soon, which we'll get into later on in the show. We'll also have her to kind of expound on that and see how some parents can get involved or get their children involved in that. So without further ado, Sincere, if you can bring on the beautiful Just Eve.
Peace and Black first, sisters. Thank you for having me.
There you are.
Peace and Black first.
Peace and Black first. I told y'all it's Black over here, and we won't have it any other way. As a matter of fact, here's my shirt.
Hey,
My soulmate
is Black.
My soulmate is Black.
My
soulmate is Black.
Amen to that.
My soul, right. He can't be nothing else. So tonight, we're going to be talking about, and the ladies and I were talking backstage, we're going to be talking about tonight, narcissistic mothers. Yes, we have to talk about these heifers. We have to talk about these narcissistic mothers who raise, weak, unfortunately, weak men who sometimes carry on the traits of these narcissistic mothers. And when I mean the traits of these narcissistic mothers, they carry on jealousy, envy, just a lot of, to me, feminine traits. A lot of feminine traits, and I don't want to blame the men for that because, again, we're the nourishers, we're the first teachers, of these men. But we have to talk about, how they play a huge role, these narcissistic others, in how Black men, relate to Black women, right? But also, how do we, teach Black men that it's okay, to move on with your life? You can't be with mama forever. You love mama, right? You're going to always love her as long as she loves you. But we're supposed to raise you, Black men and women, raise you into, building your next and your own, Black family. I personally have never experienced that in my personal life, but I know people that have. I have really close friends that has had narcissistic mother-in-laws. And when I tell y'all, it has broken really great families because unfortunately he didn't know how to stand up to his mom. And I would love to get some of the men's perspectives, if you've had a narcissistic mom, right? And you were able to, keep your family together, but also balance that out and keeping your relationship with your mom. Or did you just have to cut mom off? Sometimes it calls for that. It's unfortunate. We're going to talk about it though. So ladies, what do you guys want to say about it?
I definitely think that toxic mothers is a detriment to our community. Like you said, we're the first teachers. So if you're teaching your son to be a bitch, then you can't be mad when his prospects don't look like what you want them to look like. I find a lot of times these women are saying no to every option he's bringing home. So it's like, well, what do you want from me? Do you want me? Is that what it is? And it gets real incestuous.
Bingo.
So this is definitely a subject that needs to be chopped up. So for sure. Thank you for having me for this conversation.
Keisha? Okay.
So I think we're going to talk real good, ladies. Because for me, toxic mothers lead to toxic grandmothers. And they attribute to the generational trauma and toxicity. So I feel like, when it comes to the womb and when it comes to us birthing life, so if we don't completely heal as mothers, we become the ones who plant those seeds of toxicity into the children. And if we're raising girls as well, so whether it's boys or girls, we plant those seeds into the children, and then that toxicity continues until somebody decides to heal.
Right. So I feel like though, first you have to, most narcissistic mothers don't know that they're narcissists, right? And they become very dominant, very accusatory. Everything is an attack on them, even when you're expressing to them in love, right? In love, mom, this isn't okay, or you made me feel this way. They turn into the victim instantly. And unfortunately, most children, not unfortunately, but most children don't want to see their mothers hurt. That's just a natural thing. If you bump your toe in front of your 2-year-old and ouch, and your 2-year-old is going to want to coddle you and nourish you. So you imagine, a toxic, narcissistic mother to an adult, male or female child, what that does. They don't know how to push back, I guess, respectfully, because she's trained them to think that, it's her way or no way. I'm the law, and anything that you say that goes against what I've said to you or taught you is against me. Now you're going against your own mother for her. You're going against your own mother for him, even when they know that they're wrong.
Absolutely. That sucks because they didn't teach them how to conflict resolve anything. There was no conflict resolution. A lot of escalating and a lot of ignoring. So then when you escalate and you ignore the problem, there is no opportunity to fix it, change it, or course correct. You've never learned that. Now you're out in the world and you're talking to women, and the math ain't mathin' because your mom never taught you how to resolve conflict. And it could be really small things, just little disagreements, but the mountain turns into the molehill turns into a mountain. So it's phenomenal that people get confused that we have these problems with relationships, but you have to look at their foundation. So like Kay just said, absolutely, the grandmothers, I think about that all the time with my minis, who they're around and who they're learning from. And, I'd like to be comfortable leaving them with certain people because they were there when I was young, I trust, at least I turned out okay. But at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff I've divorced from completely, like holidays, for example.
Right.
We're talking about Santa Claus and we're on something else completely. But
that's okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's good to have disagreements between the generations because it's an opportunity to learn. I find that my minis are teaching my parents more than I could have ever taught them because they want to be around and they want to be relevant. And they know that we've put we've put our feet down and said, you know, certain behaviors, certain things you're not going to be able to do. It's not going to fly. I mean, from what they eat to what they're watching on TV, all of that stuff, where you're taking them. But that's when they're little babies and children and people we've got control over. Now you've got these adults. Who's going to rein them in? Mommy?
Right.
Who's going to rein you in? Okay. All right.
Do you have sons, if I can ask?
I do. We have 3 sons and 2 daughters.
Wow. Okay. Where? Those nice arms right there. Those nice. Where?
Thank you. What's under the
hood? So as a mom, right, and I know you hope that someday your sons, you know, get married, have beautiful wives, and extend, you know, their families. I've witnessed this again, not in my personal life, but other women where the mothers almost center themselves as if they're their woman. And honestly, I think I felt like really crazy about it because I've seen Black women do this. And you think this happens in other groups, but to see Black women, you know, almost acting like her son is her husband is weird to me. Thinking that she can possibly still discipline, or say a 30-year-old man, like literally a whooping because you're not listening to me. And I personally, I don't know if you do, but I didn't spank my kids. I have a daughter that will be 28 next month, and my son just turned 18 last month. I've never hit him. Never had
That's wonderful. I think that's
discipline.
excellent.
Yeah, I didn't have, and I understand that some kids you might have to pop them, you know, but I just didn't have to. That didn't work for me, you know, and I raised very well-rounded, you know, children. But what I noticed with these narcissistic mothers is they believed in beating their kids, not spanking, literally beating their kids as children. So these men grow up literally still in fear. They turn into children, into little boys when around their mothers.
Oh, that's for sure. That's very real. I think the son-husband thing got cracked into earlier this year or maybe last year. But I was listening to the business broadcast, and it's really a lesbian relationship when you think about it. The mom is now the husband because she's the provider, and the son is this beta dependent. It's sad. But it's happening because we're allowing it. And when I say we're allowing it, I'm saying the Black community as a collective, like you just said, you would expect this from other communities. And I've seen it in other communities. But then we adopt that personality trait or that behavior, and because we think that we can do the same thing that everybody else does. I think that it's because we don't know our story. A lot of Black people don't know history, not real history. They know what was taught to them in school, and then they've kind of divorced from that because they know Abe Lincoln didn't free the slaves, but they don't know much more than that. You know, they know Martin Luther King had a dream, but, you know, they have no idea that he was speaking about reparations and little things like that. It snowballs into this massive, big cognitive dissonance, and it hits across all areas of our existence. I think that it's important for us to try to foster nurturing homes and unabusive relationships with our minis, because again, they're gonna be adults, and you're gonna spank them. Like, is this what you've taught them? Like, they're gonna get some sort of physical abuse when they're doing something wrong. So then when they don't get that, then they're not doing anything wrong. Like, you've taught that to them already.
You taught them that.
Absolutely. I see that. Shout out to you for not spanking your kids. That's
I didn't have to. Thank you. They ain't been in no jail. No, I'm not a grandma.
There you go.
You know, like, yeah, like, and I just didn't have to do that. It was a choice, you know, but I was always big on respect. I was big on discipline, but I just disciplined differently. It could be taking things, you know, going in the corner, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I just made a conscious decision.
Sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. What about the girl? There was a mom, she cut the girl's hair off. It was a disciplinary.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Like, what about that? Man, okay.
I just wouldn't do that.
Like, what?
because that's still a point. That's still a beating to me, you know. And to me, it almost made me feel like that mother, because I saw that video. She was jealous of her daughter. Her daughter had some beauty that she was jealous of, and she wanted to tear her down. I'm gonna make you ugly because I feel ugly inside. That's what that was to me. That wasn't discipline to me. That was her being jealous of her daughter for whatever reason, you know. And instead of disciplining her, it was punishing her in a different way. It wasn't discipline, it was punishing to me.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Oh, my internet is choppy. I'm trying to keep up with you guys.
Okay. Sorry.
So I kind of missed a little bit of it, but I did want to go back to, you know, myself. Is it story time yet?
Yeah, you can story time.
Story time. So, I dealt with my kid's father. I dealt with a toxic mother, the mother that you guys are all describing for sure. So, the interesting thing is, my daughter outright disrespected a teacher when she was little. This is my oldest daughter. Outright disrespected a teacher, and it was like a no-no, and a popping was necessary. And so when she was getting her popping, the mother literally stood over my shoulder in my ear and said, "You just gonna let him beat your child like that?" And that's not what was happening. And so what was happening for him, though, he was getting frustrated. So, you know, mom standing there, I'm kind of trying to calm the situation, and he's getting frustrated. But then as I learned a little bit about, you know, their family history, family background, she was the mother that, you know, you cut up, I'm banging your head against the wall type thing. And it's like, the boundaries, but it's learned behavior too. Even as a mom, I found myself, I have my now 7-year-old is very, she's ahead of her time. And that can come off as very disrespectful. It can come off as very, what happened?
Nothing. We're here. We're here. Yeah, we're here. What happened?
As very, how do we say it? I mean, she's
grown. You know how we talk grown?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't, you know, she's definitely mature for a 7-year-old as far as her thinking. And
I feel like she speaks her mind. She's
definitely
outspoken.
Very much so.
Kids, like very much so. She's not the type of kid you can pull the wool over her eyes. So you know how we can kind of and I'm gonna call it what it is. We manipulate kids to get them to do what we want to do. You can't do that with her. So if you tell her, like, she still will not believe that Santa Claus is not real. And I've told her, no, Santa is mommy. Like, huh? It's not. No, she's like, no, Santa's real because God told me. I was like, yeah, because mommy's real. She's like, no. So her thing is you have to make it make sense to her, or, you know, you're not telling the truth. So, I mean, just little stuff like that. But I found myself, if I'm not, or basically from the toxic mother to the son, I had in my ear, well, you're not beating her hard enough. So where that's not my practice, in the back of my head, now I'm frustrated, like hearing that, like, you know, you don't want to be seen as a bad parent. So it's like you're getting frustrated. Your patience is getting shorter because now you letting the voices. So I've been trying to balance that out because, you know, it's got to stop with me. And it's difficult with this little, it's very difficult. But even with a perfect example with the same grandmother, toxic doesn't have to be physical, like you were saying. It could be emotional. So there was an instance, you know, kids don't come home at that age looking like what they went to school. Like they don't looking the same. And so my daughter going through this thing where she wants to feel pretty. So for her, tights and like little cute shoes are pretty. Like some, you know, little girly dress shoes are pretty. And so, you know, one day I kind of gave her like a whole 90s thing. She had the high-waisted shorts, but she wore tights and like some little scrunchy socks and her like bands or something. And so I guess the grandmother, when she picked her up, asked her, or it said to her, mumbled, "I don't know why your mama put that stuff on you." So for me, it's like my daughter felt pretty today with what she chose, and I approve. She felt pretty. And now we got to go back and forth because you just made her feel like now she's not pretty. And then we already have the stuff she's dealing with at school. So when I picked my daughter up, so this is a testament to her personality. I picked her up. She got in the car and she said, "Grandma, what you say that you don't know?"
Oh no, I love it. I'm here for it. She's with all the shit.
Yeah, she don't play games. She don't play. So I'm also using it as teaching, for her to teach me more patience. And when you said they're narcissistic and don't know it, she is the prime example of when her children call her out, she start throwing darts at them. So they'll be like, "Mom, you loud, have a seat and, let the event go on." And they'll say, "Well, you standing up loud because you drinking," and just start throwing darts at them. And so it's like, you start to see it. And for me, it's like, no, it got to stop somewhere. We got to stop.
Can I ask, in your situation with your ex's narcissistic mother, did there ever come a point where you felt like she was also jealous of your relationship dynamic with your partner at the time?
Absolutely. And I think it was that mother-son bond. So I could think of a perfect example of that. So my thing, I like to give or serve or just, contribute in some sort of way. So I used to make these like fresh strawberry cakes, and I used a box mix, but I would put in my own ingredients too. And so I remember it was my first time meeting her. Well, it wasn't really my first time meeting her, but it was a first family gathering. And I came, but I like to serve the cake hot because it was the icing when I put on it, I wanted it to melt. And so her daughter was like, "You can just cook the cake here, so you could pull it out the oven, serve it hot." And so, had all the ingredients out, and she's like, "Well, what you gonna make?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do my fresh strawberry cake and, serve it warm if that's okay with you, blah, blah, blah." So she's like, "Okay." And I walked out and she's like, "Well, it's a fake cake anyway."
Oh no.
And I mean, I could go down the list.
Oh, wow.
I could go down the list. But unfortunately, it took me 7 years after in order to really sit back and pay attention and be aware of things that she does, because she plays victim. Another level of toxicity, she sits and gossips with the grandchildren. So unfortunately, if my kids are on the phone talking about something other than their grandma with her or anything positive for too long, then I tell them to get off the phone. I'm just like, "Okay, you got to hang up." Because now, you sit and gossip with all of your grandchildren. And then you play victim when your children call you out.
You just described, literally, it's almost like you're describing the person. So I have a friend that's going through a similar situation right now. And it's to the point where she and her child's father live with his mom, and like she just got a new job, a really good, job or whatever, way better paid than the current job. And she was telling him, because they pretty much do the same thing, "Well, maybe you should apply too. It'll be more money, whatever, But she got the job first, right? She got the job, because, she'll just throw negative job. That, now that she got the job and she's making more than you, then that just means that she ain't going to listen to you. She tells them that their daughter, who's brilliant, y'all, been here a week, brilliant. She's slow. What else? She tells them that they don't need to get their own place. They need to stay with her because, why would you want to rent? You should just buy. That's not everybody's dynamic. You know, let's just be, you have to start somewhere. Criticizes her parenting. One month she has to go to work, but then she criticizes her for going to work because you're not being a good mother because you go to work. But I'm paying you to babysit your own grandchild and we live under the
Not paying
same
the
roof.
not whoa. What?
Paying the grandmother to stay in, and you all are all under the same roof.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Um, but definitely, like, she'll tell her son, like, they can have a disagreement, her and the girl, but she's very respectful. And, or her guy could be having a disagreement and he'll be like, Mom, let's just leave it alone. You choosing her over me? She'll say it right there. Don't you ever choose her over me. I come first.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you ever choose over me, you'll always lose. So she's had been planting these seeds, in him. And honestly, since she's been here, them talking on the phone, because the situation, the reason why she left is the mom punched her. So in front of the kid, a lot of stuff happened. And so he starts regurgitating things that she's saying when they're talking on the phone and stuff like, yeah, I bet you just left because you want to be with someone else. Da 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 da. It's like, dude, your mom punched her and you didn't even step in to stop it. And that's my problem.
Oh, that's a huge
That's
problem.
that's my
Yeah.
problem because, and then his whole thing, well, you know how she is, you know how she is, you know how she is. I'm sorry, and I'm just letting any mother out there know. You hit me, I'm hitting your ass back. I don't care. You can be 99.9 years old. If you hit me in an aggressive way because you feeling big and bad, you feeling froggy, and you want to leave, I'm hitting your ass back. This has happened numerous times, and she's never done it because she said, "Well, I respect her. I want to respect her." That's his mom. I don't have that in me. You know what I'm saying? You're just not gonna, maybe once, maybe it was an accident. I don't know. You bumped into me. I don't know. I'm not taking hits like that though, from anybody, period. I would have laid her out, but she didn't. But my thing is, you're there, buddy. That's where you come in as a man. You 30. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a if that's how she is. That's not okay. It's not okay. But I also give a little grace because this is who you've been raised by and this is all you know. How do we break that? Because sadly, he knows that it's wrong, but it's because it's all that he knows. I don't even think he knows how to shake it, y'all. I've had conversations with he don't know how because that's his mom and he loves her as he should, but as a man, you have a family now, right? She has to respect you. She has to respect the person that you choose to be with and the family that you're building. And you have to let her know that has to be respected. That starts with you as the son. You don't know how, y'all. You don't know how.
Well, she's abusing him because she's holding resources over his head. It sounds like he never got a chance to flap his wings and see if he can make it out the nest.
But
And
they can. And the thing is, they can because they both have great jobs. They paying all her fucking bills.
oh no.
She's very emotionally manipulative, financially manipulative. I can go down the line. Okay? Down the line. He does not know how to break the chain.
Does he want to?
He wants to. He feels guilty. She has gotten so deep into his heartstrings and the level of guilt that he feels for wanting to move on with his family and build that and move out, and build their own thing and create their traditions, together. It's a guilt that he feels for even thinking about it.
So is this a case where, and you guys may have said it while I was thinking, but a case where, so some mothers birth their children to fill a void. And so they're loving their children as the thing that loves me back, right? And so
She has a husband.
Oh Lord.
I was about to say, is she
Oh,
by
Lord.
herself? Like she needs some love? What is going on? You
Well,
said
but
so
then
she's
She has
got
a
a
that
husband.
goes
husband.
back to that tells you what that relationship is like with her husband.
Horrible.
But that's not
Horrible.
his dad, though. I'm sure.
No.
It is
Right.
not just that. And so it's even deeper than that, that it still falls back on her. Like, what's going on with you? It's unresolved, it's rooted. And until it gets acknowledged, it's going to keep on going. Because what she's doing is avoiding having to look at herself in the mirror. So it goes into, okay, well, it's everybody else but me. It's y'all. It's y'all. Because then that's why that thing roars up when, they stand up to her. And when you guys talked about leaving the nest, and as we can reference,
You froze.
Oh man.
Keisha, looks like Keisha has froze. Hopefully when she gets back, she can finish her statement. What I want to say, about this situation, and hear him not being able to break that chain without feeling that guilt. He's not her only child. She has 6. He's the baby, I think. Is he the baby? I think he's the baby. I think that he's the baby. But still very much grown. But she's like this in all of her children's relationships until the other ones pushed back and moved on and just didn't look back. So she's very involved in all of her children's relationships to the point where she's even told her daughter, who recently had a baby, that you'd be better off just being a single mom. Just raise
What?
it yourself. And I'm sitting here like, who tells their daughter that?
You have a whole husband. What are you
You know,
talking about? What?
that's my thing. I'm sitting here like, y'all,
Man.
if I can say everything on here, if I can say here, and
Okay.
sadly, because my friend has been around them on and off for over 10 years, I think a part of it got in her head, and she's been, basically trying to please this woman more so, I think, than him. And, for her, the mom, the narcissistic mom, and likewise him, right? He's doing more to please mom than he is her. They're both doing it. At this point, they're both contributing to her narcissism and don't know how to break the chain. You know what I mean? Both of them are. It's like she did a number. She did a number, and she's very manipulative, controlling, antagonistic. She's self-centered. She's dominant. She's arrogant. She's violent. And she likes to isolate them. She don't want them to have friends, including her.
oh, that's typical narcissistic behavior when you separate them. So then,
Got
because
to
you
separate
got to
them.
put them in a position where everybody ain't talking.
Well, that part. And if she's pushed all five out of her 6 children away, then it seems likely that she would be so focused on him and what he's got going on because the rest of them
Ain't nobody left.
Right. So I get it. She's doubled down on the abuse because she doesn't have anybody else to abuse.
Right.
He needs to give her to her husband and move on.
I've told him
Give her a
nothing
kiss
is
on
going to change until you change.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's hard though
It
because
is.
mommy is strong. Look, we have powers, and
Superpowers.
I mean, it's super for sure. We can lift cars. We do the most, but we also are the little voice in the back of their head. That's us. We are all of their little voices in the back of their head. So however he grew up, whatever she was pouring into him when he was moldable and forming, that's what he's hearing right now on top of what she's currently saying. So his wife, your friend, trying to make peace or keep a calm environment, I get that too, because we're nurturers. We want to keep the peace. Essentially, that's a happy household, as if everybody is good.
Getting along.
Facts. But if we're not getting along, or if we're finding that there's a root of the problem and now we're focused on fixing it, well, now we can't focus on each other. And I think that that's by design. You can't focus on her, she can't focus on you, y'all focus on me, and the split will happen. And you didn't even know that it was because of me. Like, I planned all of this from the jump. So
From the jump. Yeah, this lady has gone as far as like kidnapping this girl's child at one point when she was a baby and dragging her into court, and she manipulated her son into doing it as well. But it was resolved. She got her child back, but it goes deep. This woman is literally, I think she need her ass whooped. This is just me personally. I think that no one stands up to her, and if she got that ass tapped one good time,
once, facts,
maybe twice, she might have to get it twice. You know what I mean? And that will, I think she will respect you more. She's the type, I think, that will respect you more if you bust her in her mouth. She's gonna be mad about it. She's gonna cry. She's gonna be, cry victim. She's the type that she's gonna call all 6 of her kids and lie that you ran her over with the car so they can all come, jump you or whatever. But that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Take it. She needs to be busting her mouth a couple times. And a person like that only respects you if you beat their ass. As long as you're trying to be nice, not stepping up, for yourself, trying not to stir the pot. Oh, she's just like that. That's not going to work with her. You literally have to pop her. That's in my opinion.
Well, don't pop the kids, pop the parents.
That's what I mean. Pop her.
I mean, that makes sense to me. The children don't know any better. These adults, they absolutely know better.
Yeah, she likes to play gangster. I'm from Compton, da-da-da-da. Compton, people in Compton get their ass whipped too. So the people in Watts, does not matter. You know what I mean? You're the type of person who bullies, who you can bully. And somebody that steps up to you, she's instant victim.
For instant. Sure. But that's probably why, she still has relationships with her other children, and they probably treat her like nothing. They don't call, no hey, no Thanksgiving, nothing like that.
She has to call them. They ain't calling.
Good. They've taught her how to treat them. You're not going to treat me like how you were treating me. You're going to follow my game plan. And it's scary to say that you've got a game plan that supposedly your family's not supporting. But if you've made a family, that's where your support is. You need to lean on them, his wife and his child. That to me should be a motivator. But if mommy wants you perpetually single because, well, maybe she thinks her husband's going to leave and she needs somebody to take the trash out in 10 years or something.
I'm going to give it a year. I'm giving it a year. If that, that's going to be the situation.
Man. That's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think they're a great couple. I do. I think that he has a lot of growing up to do, and the growing up is he'll grow up tomorrow once he's out of that environment, I believe. Just talking to him, he'll be out of that. He'll grow up tomorrow once he's out of that environment. They're great. She's great for him. He's great for her, right? They have to get out of that environment, and sadly, it's almost like they're scared to. She has did a number.
Has he talked to her? Has he talked to her husband before?
Yes, and she finds that threatening. That actually happened last night, and she pulled the whole "you're going against me," blah blah blah, to him. So yeah,
so she knows how to pick them. This woman has been
knows how to
working
pick
for
them.
however many decades.
Yeah,
wants her son to fall right in line with that. Shame on her. But he's gonna have to man up, because
I told him.
Does he want his family, or does he want his mama? Because if he picks his mama and he finds somebody else, it's just gonna be the same situation all over again. Like, why would you put yourself through that unless he's been, all right, fuck it, I'm just not gonna be with anybody because this woman's crazy. I have to wait till she dies before I can move on. That's wild.
That
But
is very, very wild. But I've told him though, don't lose what you have, because the thing about it is, regardless to his mom's marriage situation, if it's healthy or not, she still has somebody. She holding on to you, holding on to. She ain't got rid of her, so don't let her have you get rid of yours. Fight for your relationship, fight for your girl and your child. Because that's what you want to do, and that's the right thing to do. Right. So don't allow her to have that. But if you're okay with that, because I've said this too, you have to make a choice, because her thing is, I'm not going back there. And if we're going to do this, we're going to do this in our own. I'm not going to be abused verbally or physically, emotionally anymore. And I don't blame her for that. And I told him it's not fair for him to want her to do that at this stage, you know, because that's how she is. No, that's not okay. You can't expect her to be comfortable in a place because that's how she is. You're either going to break the cycle or you're not. Shit or get off the pot.
And if I could add, when we get to the stage of, that goes into making those excuses, that's just how she is. And it's like, just what you're saying, you going to either, shit or get off the pot. And it's like, that is, well, one, it's an excuse to carry on the behavior and not be accountable. And two, it lets you know without them even telling you, I'm not ready to change. So if a person is saying, I'm not ready to change, then what do you do?
Right.
So like you said, it's a choice that has to be made.
One way or the other, whether that's a choice to be together and do our own thing or to amicably, move on because you have chosen to basically be with your mama. You're a narcissistic mother.
And hopefully, even with the situation happening, she's built up this probably newfound confidence in herself. Like, you know what, standing up for herself, putting those boundaries around herself as well to protect her and her children. Like, you know what, and that's a good place to be at. Like, we're not doing this. This is, and, clear boundaries. Like, we're not doing this. It's either this or that, or I'm moving forward because I have to protect me and I have to protect my babies.
Right. And she only has one, thankfully, just one, but she's 4, and all we hear, for the last, for the, few days, my granny hit my mommy right here. She say, boom, boom, boom to mommy. She said, that's not nice. That's not nice. And I'm like, no, baby, that's not nice. It's like, lady, what are you doing? Like, this is not okay. This is not okay, and this is regular. And the thing is, she's setting the template for future relationships for this child too.
Absolutely. I mean, if this is how she's handling her conflicts now at her ripe old age, I can imagine what type of household they had growing up with regards to discipline and, again, conflict resolution. So it's a wonder that he was able to even lay down with another woman, like, in general, and make a baby, because sometimes these behaviors, they show themselves way before we get intimate with them, and then, but now we're intimate, so we're kind of stuck. Oh shit, now it's a baby, now we're invested because it's the whole life. I do not advocate for Black families to split at all.
Me neither. However, I tell her that, but
however, I am a divorcee who's engaged. Like, I'm right there. So I've been divorced, and I wouldn't want anybody to do that, because I think our families should stay whole and remain how they're supposed to be. But I get it. Life gets messy and people move, change, and whatever. However, with your friend, a divorce is not going to look good for the little girl, the little baby that you're talking about, that 4-year-old, because that grandma, he's going to allow her to be in control of the discipline. He's not going to discipline. It's going to be his mom's taking care.
Well, that's how it is. That you just that's that too. She doesn't want to listen to mommy and daddy. Honestly, only grandma, because that's how it's been, and that's how she has it set up, and that's all on purpose too, if you ask me.
Yeah, grandma's been hitting and whooping everybody. I would listen to her ass too. Like, Mommy,
Get her
can
ass back.
save me.
Hit her back.
And I teach my 7. Well, I teach both of my children young, and hopefully, I think the oldest one is getting a little bit, because I, try to teach them about their woman power, and I'm like, I said, you got a power in you that girls have that everybody don't, boys don't necessarily have all the time. And I said, if it don't feel right in your belly, then it's not right, no matter what. I said, that's God telling you it's not right. And I said, and if it doesn't feel right in your heart, and I be careful with that one too, I'm like, it's not right. I said, so if your belly say it's not right and your heart say it's not right, then it ain't right. And so that's why it goes back to my little one. I don't shush her when she's right. Like, I also listen to her first, see what she's talking about, because they'll tell you what's going on. And she at 4 is doing the best she can to try to tell y'all, hey, look, this is what's happening. It ain't right, but I can't do nothing because I'm scared.
Absolutely.
And I want to protect my mommy, and I don't want my mommy to hurt, but I'm scared. I don't know what to do, because she might hit me too. Well,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Man.
It's just been, I'm telling you guys, and I've told her, I'm all about keeping Black families together if they can be together, right? I'm never going to tell you to leave, because that decision is yours. Only you know what you can tolerate. You know when you've had enough. You know him, because this has been over a 10-year relationship. So you know if he's going to step up or not. You know if he's going to shit or just get off the pot, right? So do what's best for you, but always put your daughter, at least put your daughter first. You have to put her first in this situation, because she's growing up in a toxic, violent environment, and not just this incident that just happened last Thursday. This is an ongoing thing. So you have to think about, the template that you want to set for yours. That's the template that was set for him, unfortunately. But you are in control of the template that you set for your child. Choose wisely. And he has to know that too. And I think he respects, my opinion, because, I'm not that girl, even when he's made mistakes in the past. Girl, leave him. I just don't do that, because that's just not my choice to make. A woman knows when she's had enough, we know right from wrong, unless it's abusive, then of course, right? But I just told him, you have to man up. I've said it like nicely, softly. You gotta man up. You gotta man up, babe, because you're gonna lose your family. You know what I mean? And at what cost to you? What is that costing you? Because it's not gonna cost her anything at this point.
And then is it, safe to say that as women, that makes us feel like we're not protected. We're not covered. You're not covering me, because you're not standing up to her to want support or protect me. So then you shrink in my eyes, unfortunately.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you're not the one, if you're not the one blocking the ammo, you're not my protector, then what are you there for? I mean,
what are you?
23 hours of the day, we got to be doing something else. And, that 1 hour where we might be, extra friendly, that's cool. But your mom is standing outside the door because she's got control issues. I was thinking the mom might even have an issue with the fact that he has a daughter. So he's got a daddy-daughter relationship. He's a present husband. And this man is doting on 2 women, females that aren't his mom. She's got some issues that she's going to have to resolve. If it were my home, I would absolutely remove myself from the situation, and not from him per se, but just there's got to be some ground rules. And I think that if he's ready to change, then he'll be like, all right, absolutely, because I don't want my family to go away. But again, maybe mommy has made it so easy, and maybe he's never been told no from her when he needed to be told no. Like, she was very enabling.
Only if she stands to gain something from it.
Sure.
That's the only time There's a no. And when I say gain something from it, it could be sick gratification of, you know, him stepping out uh, on his marriage, right? And her condoning that just to see this one cry,
Man.
you know. But when I'm here when I need something or to gain something from you, I'll tell you all day, oh, that's wrong, bad. I'm going to talk to him because he shouldn't be doing that. You're the best thing, you know, that he's ever had. Like playing both sides, you know. Then when she gets upset with her right in front of him, you need to watch her because I think she's cheating.
What?
I think she's cheating.
See,
Yeah. You need to watch her. Look how she's walking.
At some point, that happened before the baby got here, and nothing happened. There were no consequences for how she was talking. Like this, that's real reckless, Mom. Like, why would you say that to my future wife or to the future mother of my children, the mother of your grandchildren? Don't you want to be present in our lives? But if this is how you're going to act, then I'm sorry, we're going to see you when we see you. And
right.
That's actually been enough in my family. I mean, a lot of the coon-fused behavior that I've seen in my family has course corrected itself just from absence. Not being there, they want to be around, they want to be involved, so they make little subtle changes, and you'll notice it because you haven't been there. So next time you go, it's like, oh, I see you with your little dashi. I don't know what it is, you know, whatever it is that makes them more black or more like you versus how they were being. But Buddy's got to shit or get off the pot. I think it's so bad for a woman to tell a man to man up. Because at this point, like, you're my child at this point. Like, I'm talking to you like a baby. But
he doesn't have a man either that's there telling him the truth, even the stepdad, because there's just a lot.
So he knows how to pick them. That's what it seemed like. Pick somebody who wasn't going to combat anything.
There's no hyper masculinity in there. It's beta energy throughout, you know, the home. When it comes to the male dynamic, is beta, and beta energy.
And so I know we have an Ayana video that speaks to what we are talking about.
Emotional manipulation. This is it, y'all, right here. This is
she just said we'd a little voice in the back of there. She just said that. I mean, look at his face.
He's hurting.
And that starts in the womb, because if you think about a baby in the womb, it's our voice that they're hearing. And, you know, it's subtle, but they're hearing our vibrations. So they get used to that. And that's where that attachment first starts, obviously. But it's story time after this, y'all.
I don't feel like she was hurt enough even while she was talking. I think because I want to sob, you know, and you know that little doing it.
I know
her makeup is still intact. You know what I'm saying, like, girl. But again, she has to switch it. I have to change the energy around because I'm the victim, Yala. It's not him. It's me. He hurt me. Not that he's responding to hurt that I, you know, put on him. You know, he's reacting to the hurt that I put on him. No. He did it to me. That's what this woman says.
Ridiculous. Why are you putting such standards on your children? I'm sorry. Self-love is missing. And when I think that when Black women decide to focus on self, it's at the wrong time. Like, she should know how she is before he even got here. But okay, maybe you didn't, and maybe you're learning as you grow. But he got married to a registered nurse. I mean, your friend is married. They're both productive adults, and this woman is still telling him that he needs to mind what she's saying as a grown man. So clearly he's not a grown man to her.
Man, can I say this? This very man, it made a year last November, died in a car accident and was brought back. They didn't know for 2 days. He hadn't come home, so she was like, he out here BSing or something. I ain't looking for him, whatever. Second day, it's like, okay, nigga, you know, I'm texting, I'm calling, nothing. So let me go up to his job, right? Car is still in the parking lot. They go, she goes in, they're like, there was a car accident. He's airlifted to the hospital. We thought that they may have contacted you guys, blah, blah, blah. He is, on life support, unresponsive, um, severed spleen and liver. Um, like I said, bad. They brought him back in. You know, the second day when they found out, it was just like, at this point, there's nothing else that we as doctors can do. If he comes out of that, it's on God, right? My friend takes off work, goes on a leave. She's there. She never leaves that hospital from that day. I'm sleeping right here. Now, me as a mother, we all sleeping in this bitch, right?
Amen
We
to that.
all
Yes,
sleeping in this
all
bitch,
of us.
right?
We all of it.
If my son is who I don't know, based off what these professionals have said, is going to wake up or not. I only see what I see, tubes everywhere. We all sleeping in this piece, right? That's your job. That's your job. It's not my job to sit here. That's your job. Who says that?
Okay, you muted, babe.
All I said was wow.
Yeah.
Just
Who does that?
speechless.
Who? And again, if my son ever marries in a relationship with someone who's going to be, by my son's side, in difficult situations, like that while in the hospital and then after nursing him back, I can only dream and be so happy and proud that he chose someone like that, because that's what I would do, for my partner and significant other. I wouldn't leave him high and dry because I love that hard. I will only dream to have my son be with someone that loves him so much that they're going to take care of him in and outside of the hospital. Why isn't this woman being celebrated? Why wouldn't you want that for him? And again, that's your job. And turned your ass and went home.
Well,
Completely
I mean,
speechless.
she's not wrong. It is the wife's role, but damn, how do you say that about your son? What are
Well,
you
let me say
what?
something really quick, Eve. They're not married, they're engaged.
Okay. For what it's worth, the sentiment I think applies. Mama is not laying up with you, so certain sacrifices are not going to come from her, and I get that absolutely. But just the way that she piggybacks or goes back and forward, you can't trust anything she says. Like, how do you know if today's going to be a day that she's hot, or is today going to be a day that she's
She's
cold?
cold.
Who's supposed to play those games? No, your husband can play those games with you. That's who chose you. That's who you need to be playing games with. But me and mine, we need to
Exit stage left.
go. Absolutely. Damn.
Yeah, it's just, seeing it on the Yala, hearing people, talk about it, but me, getting a call, and I was at work, so I see it, but I had some downtime. So I'm like, what's up? How I answer the phone or whatever, and I'm just hearing screaming, you know. And yeah, that is just hard, and hearing the stories and stuff like that, and I've always just encouraged. I'm like, well, you know what, if this is going on before it got to this, you need to sit down and talk to your partner and tell them it's time to go. Enough is enough. Shit, if he ain't on board, just go find something. I guarantee you he gonna follow you. He ain't staying there. He gonna follow you wherever you go. But you just gonna have to, step up and make that decision. Don't ask at this point. Just go do it. Like, this is where I was with it, because it was just, I saw it escalating. And it escalated. and but even with the escalation, last week, just being here now. Now I get everything. Now I'm learning more. And yeah, it's just not okay. And you're dealing with a different type of soul, and it's not a good soul, unfortunately. And you two, have to focus on your family if you want it that much. And if he wants it that much, then he's going to do what's necessary, to keep his family together. And sometimes that means, I have to leave mama. And mom, that doesn't mean your son don't, love you, but she's definitely going to guilt him if he does do that. She's going to tell him that he chose someone over her because it has to be her above anyone. But he has to also be okay with that. I don't think that he should be surprised about that either, because she didn't tell you that you can. I have to tell you that you can go, or something like that. So they just have to be okay with the lies that she's going to tell, because she's the one that gets on the phone with everybody and tell all the business and then say, don't tell nobody my business. Well, bitch, you've been on the phone all morning, on five-way, telling the business. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just unfortunate, and it makes me sick, that black women are doing this to black men, their black children, and putting them out in the world to date someone like me, to date someone like my daughter who's going to be 28 years old next month. Someone damaged. Like we can't
that's real.
we can't keep doing that. We can't keep doing it.
I think your friend, I'm sorry, Kay, I see you jumped off the mute. Real quick, I think your friend is going to have to accept that her man is a beta. And then she's just going to have to pull up her alpha panties and make some decisions. I mean,
balance.
There is somebody for everybody. I believe that.
Yep.
So the beta men, there is a dominant woman out here who wants to run your ass ragged. She does. She's ready for you. You need to be ready for her. I'm not saying that he's that much of a beta, but I believe what you just said. If she goes and finds a place and gets stable, he'll go. Because right now he's not coming to your house. He's not going to do that. But if she goes and gets her own, then why wouldn't he? There'd be no reason for him not to. But he just needed somebody to do it. And lucky for him, the mother of his children said that she'll help him move on. But I was thinking about what you said about the rest of her kids and how she's probably just focused on the baby or her son because there's nobody else. He needs to reach out to his siblings. He needs to call on them and figure out whatever strength they had to move on. Not so they don't mess with him because of her.
It's not that they don't mess with him because of her. It's so she sows. She sows. They don't, get along as siblings as they should. She tells them that all of them are jealous of each other.
Oh. Okay.
Eve is jealous of you, Kay. Y'all sisters, right? I'm on the phone. Y'all, two are sisters. I'm like, but I'm on the phone with Kay. I'm like, I talked to you talked to your sister Eve today? No, I didn't. Oh, I talked to her. She's jealous of you.
Oh no.
She's jealous because you brought my grandbaby over here and I didn't have her. She's so jealous. So she does that with the children.
Man.
See,
so it's deep.
Story time is all coming together, y'all.
Yeah.
But I want to even go back to Ayala when it says fathers come and take their sons away. Generally, I know I always talk about how after a certain point, boys used to get sent down to the South with family, and you stay there for a summer or a week, 2 weeks, and you learn something. And and then you come back. You learn a skill, you learn some respect, and a little history, depending on the family dynamics, but usually some history. And you reel it back in. And so with my same situation, the dynamic in the family when the dad tried to discipline, and see, this is the part I'm unsure of, but now that I know the mother, some stuff make better sense. But the dad would try to step in, and the mother, y'all gonna like this one, the mother would come in and say, the devil made him do it.
Ooh.
No. The devil made him do it. That's the devil. So when he started
Wait, the devil made who do it?
made the son
Uh-huh.
behave bad behavior. The devil made him do it. So the
So
son knew Mama gonna get me out of some trouble if I tell her, Mama, the devil made me do it.
So she told him how to be manipulative. She told him how to
Yeah.
lie. Yeah, okay.
And so the dad pretty much take his hands off of it. So then fast forward, we get this boy who grew up into a young man, and he is, excited. He's getting ready to have his first child. And I overhear in the restroom. I go into the restroom, pregnant me, because I'm the one with the new child. Go into the restroom, and I hear the mother get up behind me, go into where he was, and say, "You ain't no man." And so for me, the sympathy rose as to, well, what tools did you give him to be one? Because when I say, he went upstate for a minute, I wrote a letter, or for a month or two. I wrote a letter, like, I ain't heard from him. She's like, well, he lazy in the mind. He ain't gonna. And the biggest one was, dad or her husband is flirting with her. And she, getting there and can you, do what I asked you to do? And she leans to me and says, men can't do nothing. Right.
So she hates men.
Yes. She, and because, so her father was African, and she felt that he didn't like her, I think.
He didn't, because her mama was an FBA. I'm just telling you, it's just real. I'm gonna tell you what it is. I gotta tell you, because then, like, it's deep, and we're learning a lot of this stuff in recent times. That these people come over here, a lot of times to get papers, for whatever reason, that they get over here, and they have a disdain for foundational Black Americans, including the women have it for the men, and the men have it for the women. You served your purpose, whatever that may have been, and out of that, I may have knocked you up.
And so even back then,
because
I'm like, they was what, 6 kids in?
No.
So she felt he was really mean. She felt mean. He was mean, so she rebelled. And she fast forward, got with the guy, had a boyfriend out in South, got with this guy. But I know when she told me about her relationship with her husband, she said, one time I thought he was going to hit me with the phone, and I was scared of him since. I said, thought. Thought. What? And so to me, if that was the beginning, it's no surprise to where it is now and the children. In that situation, when you step outside of it, you see just it everything. Just down. And I'm trying to cover mine by telling the truth and keeping them, not keeping you away because you need to see what to notice, but trying to keep them
sheltered
from it as much as possible.
Absolutely. We have to teach them. We have to learn them of the behavior. Look, I am of the mindset that, like you said, we're manipulative. Mothers and parents are manipulative. We're supposed to be programming our minis. Like, as if you don't insert a program, then everybody and everything else will. I hope it's okay to plug this right now, but we got FBA Sunday School coming up.
Yes.
And
this is so much. This is needed.
It's so important, and it's not about the core curriculum. It's not. I'm not here to talk to your children about, a verb and a noun, but I would like to talk to them about Jenny tried to play in my hair today, and I would like to talk about, Teacher Susie said it's okay to feel however you want to feel, because maybe y'all aren't debriefing with them. Maybe you don't know how to start, but it's kind of family oriented. You don't have to be a child to enroll, but it is for the youth. We would like to talk to them about practical math with regards to reparations, what that looks like, We want to talk to them about languages because all these people come over here and they feel like they can talk in their little code and we don't know what's going on. We need to be one-upping these people. Like, no, I don't look like I speak Spanish, but I understood exactly what you just said. And how rude. Like, come on now, you can't speak like that to me. But they can because we don't know what they're saying. Or our story, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people are disconnected from who we are because they thought that their story started on a slave ship. And a lot of us weren't even on a slave ship. We got displaced from where we are currently in this country. So it's backwards and misinformation. Our role, to me, is to make sure that these babies are armed and protected and they have coverage in all the different ways. So this is just our little contribution.
I'm enrolling.
Much respect. We have
enrolling.
orientation. We have an orientation for parents on Sunday at 1 o'clock. It's on a Zoom. It'll be recorded for people who can't attend, but just going over the curriculum, what we're going to be talking about. Again, I could care less if your student knows what a noun and a verb is as much as they should know that foundational Black Americans are owed a debt, what a debt is, who foundational Black Americans are, whatever hashtag identifier you use.
Right.
This is yours. And a lot of people take advantage of the fact that we're not owning things that are ours. But then we go and we claim behavior that's never been us because it feels right, because it feels good right now, or I seen Jenny do it, so let me see how it works over here. Nah, absolutely not. We got to reprogram these babies. We got to reprogram ourselves, but you got to start somewhere. So
thank you for doing this.
Oh, for sure.
Can I ask the age, what grade level this is going to be for?
Essentially, it's for all ages. My only thing is that if you have like a baby under the age of 5, you need to sit with them. Like I personally have an issue with parents who just gonna sit their kid in front of a laptop or a tablet and say, here you go, because they don't have the wherewithal to interpret what's going on or even just being online with other people. I think that that's a very scary thing. But maybe it's because we grew up with stranger danger. Like, I still feel weary when I'm calling an Uber. I don't like strangers pulling up to my house and knowing knowing my personal information. But yeah, up through high school, again, I don't think you have to have a child to do it, but it is going to be for the children. So, you be 30 enrolled in the class of school. Maybe you don't do the Zoom. Maybe you just watch the videos that are recorded. They'll be on the Patreon, so everybody will have access to it if you sign up on the Patreon. But yeah, definitely do that.
I'm definitely doing that. I took my son to the reparations rally in DC. And he went, I think, because he was just like, well, I want to fly. His whole thing is he wants to be well traveled, right? So anytime it's time to get on the airplane, he just wants to go just to technically say he went to that state. And so when it came to the reparations rally, when we got there, we went to eat the first night, the rally happened, and he's just like, finally, I think on our way home back, he was like, I really thought that this was going to suck. I only went because I wanted to, fly to DC and say I went. He was like, but Mom, that was so cool. I learned so much. He's met Tariq several times from like 13 on, so he kind of feels like they know each other. Anytime that he's in his front, he feels like they know each other or whatever. So anytime he gets to get around him and other people, but and of course being on social media the way that I am now, a lot of FBAs, I got a chance to see. So I'm like, hey, such and such, you only know about their profile pictures, and I'm like, that's such and such, and everybody's chopping it up. And he's like, Mom, you know these people. I was like, well, kind of from my podcast and social media, but this is family. And everybody's embracing him and talking to him, about reparations, about Blackness. And it was the men. It's funny because Keisha brought up how the men would, take on, the male children. And that's exactly what happened at the reparations rally. A lot of the men just grabbed my son, and I was kind of over with the women doing my own thing. And the men kind of just took him on and fed him so much information, so much love, just brotherhood, fatherhood, all that stuff. And he was like, I really enjoyed that. And I will go back every time. And I was like, I told you you'll like it. He was like, I thought it was going to be corny. I thought that I was going to ask you to go sit in the car, all this stuff. But so he really appreciated, the fellas, the brothers, what I'm saying, just kind of taking him on and just chopping it up with him. And he actually vlogged it. It was amazing to him. When we went to Tariq's grand opening of the museum, he wanted to go, and I was like, nah, he's kind of doing 21 and up. He was like, can we call him? I was like, we don't know his number, boy. But those types of things, like, we don't know how valuable that is to the children, but also how much they want it, because mine wanted it. You know what I mean? And he still talks about the guys. He can't wait for Dallas. Sincere and I will be vending, so you make sure you guys pre-order at www.godcastenterprises.com for Seven the Super Heru, the Foundational Black American Children's Book Series, Volume 1. So he'll be there with us. Hopefully you come, you'll get to meet my son. So it's just important to me that I also expose him to these things. I'll expose him and teach him about the debt that is owed as well. He's in the speech and debates class, and he has a final speech debate on May the 6th, and he's doing it on reparations. So
Hey,
yeah.
shout out to you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Having these conversations and then they rolling into the classroom, that's exactly what I would like to see. A lot of times the students, they've already disconnected from the system, and the teachers don't know what to do with that. But if the parents haven't given them the ammunition or the fire, or they haven't breathed life into them, speaking truth to power, then they're just going to seem, insubordinate and rebellious, and they're going to get labeled all the bad things. But no, you start asking questions about what you're supposed to be doing, or why we're celebrating this, or okay, George Washington was the founder. He's one of the fathers of the country. Okay, but he also fathered all these slaves because he was raping people. So let's put the right context on the information, and then the teachers don't know what to do with that. I find it's a beautiful thing because they have to evolve. And when they don't evolve, you get calls home and your child is being disruptive. But you need to know that. You need to know that teacher feels that way about your child.
Right.
And you won't know if your kid's just going along to get along, or if you're not debriefing with them, you're not giving them information about what's going on. None of that stuff. And I get it. Nobody has time. We don't have time for this stuff. But I feel like it's our job, right? Like this is my role. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So we do it for our children here. I'd love to support other foundational Black American children, Black first children here in the country. Everybody should know their role. But if you don't, then you're gonna be out here looking crazy in these social media spaces, in our actual faces, people showing up to the rally because it's cool and not because it was what we needed to be doing, or showing up to the expo because, oh yeah, I'm here. Look at me, I'm here, but not making any connections or doing any business or
building.
Constructing conversations. Absolutely. The building part of it is, I can appreciate Tariq for having an event like this. April's New Black Media Appreciation Month, so shout out to him for things together. I mean, I'm a student of all three of them, and I find that I'm always learning. And if I'm always learning, they're always learning. And it's just the children, not the New Black Media.
I found Tariq, and I think someone sent him to me. Whatever year Mike Brown died, I think that was 2014, if I'm not mistaken. That's, I don't know how. I think someone sent his one of his broadcasts to me, and once I saw that one, I started going back to old ones and just chiming in every week. And I was like, I didn't know shit about my history. And then I got all the Hidden Colors series. Actually, I think Keisha and I have gone to an event together. No, actually. So Kay and I went to see Dr. Umar at one point. We went to, he was here in LA. Yes. He was here in LA, and that's when before he went crazy. But Kay and I went to go see Dr. Umar. Yeah, so it was just like, I just literally started buying books like crazy. I completely shut my TV off. I don't watch TV now. Like if I'm either reading audiobook, regular books, because they're all, you know,
Mhm.
right here, down here, even down there. Like I'm always buried in a book, if not a physical book, audio books, or looking at documentaries. Like I just was like, I've been too far behind. And the last thing I need is to have my kids behind. And now I would say I wasn't where I am today with my daughter, sadly. Like, so now I'm like re-teaching her. She's relearning. I was able though to get my son early and young. And I'm so grateful and thankful, that got into my, I would say consciousness, if you will, when I did for him, so that he won't be out here talking about black and brown and, all lives matter and all this stuff. Like that's just doing him a disservice. And I can't do that to me or him or my daughter.
And just to add to that, that's one of the reasons I'm here, because we took a group of students on the historically black college shore and, showed them some things outside of their norm. And I think a big highlight of it was being in a space where they seen a lot of themselves. And one of the things I heard one of the students say was just talking about how, wait, like they're really serious. Like they're really serious about this. And it's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
learn to socialize, you learn to network, you're getting some education, but you're getting history with it too. And I feel like no, I think I was like you. Like I started behind the books, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to a conference, I'll go to
Mm-hmm.
somebody's
All that.
speaking. I started diving into that. Even now, certain topics, like anything black at work, I'm tapped into. So black parents, black students, black teachers. Um, I was in health at first, again advocating for black folks' health and
Mm-hmm.
wellness. Now I'm on the other side of the fence in this. It I don't know what it is, because right now it's like it's just a system. It's not education. It's just a system, and it's a lot of political play. And we doing everything but focusing on the kids. And then the ones who are focused on the kids are the ones who are looked at as inadequate, or you doing too much. In some cases it just depends, but it's like some people really do care, and unfortunately that's not what that's all about. So I thank just Eve for what she's doing with the Sunday school,
Mm-hmm.
because
Thank you.
we
Thank
need
you.
it.
You're
A
definitely
different kind of Sunday school. Sunday school is usually church.
Yes.
look. I thought definitely move some people in the right direction. I am not I'm not religious at all. But I remember Sunday school. I mean, I grew up in the church. I remember Sunday
Right.
school, and what I didn't know, because I didn't go to a black church, I didn't know that adults had Sunday school too. Like that whole concept was brand new to me. And when I found out, I was like, that makes so much sense to have a moment of convening with the congregation before we talk about what we're about to talk about, because y'all might need some more information about what we're talking about. Like it all just kind of came together. Like everybody needs to have their own separate safe space to talk about what we're going to talk about. And from there, I mean, Sunday school just seems to be, it just seems to fit. We're going to learn, we're going to talk, we're going to convene, we're going to debrief. I really hope that children are going to participate, because I've been the Zoom teacher. I know what it's like to have 30 blank faces looking at figure out, why am I here? Can I go get some food? Do I have to ask to go to the bathroom? I've been there, and it's all good. It's only gonna 2 hours maximum amount of time is 2 hours. I'm really not trying to keep anybody on a Sunday, but I do think that ending the year strong and then doing this over the summer, and then they come back to school strong. I think that that's a move that we can make, and it's not hard. So if you want to participate, definitely hit me in the emails.
Okay.
I'm all for us.
Can I text you?
Yeah, you can text me.
And then because I definitely want to participate. I want to support, and tell a friend, for those out there, tell a friend and tell a friend. We need as many, of our babies, on this call, Zoom learning experience as possible, because each one teach one, and we're trying to build the best human beings that we can, because they are our future. We're not going to be here forever. We need to set them up for success. I think that's exactly what she's trying to do, and I love the fact that you're like, we're not focusing on verbs now. We're talking about reparations. We're going to do some math, students. We're going to learn our history. You're going to know who you are, right? So I love, love, love that you're doing that. I appreciate you for doing that. I appreciate you for doing the Godcast, and I'll be doing her Pick Me podcast next Wednesday. So I will be on her show next Wednesday, and thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Kate, you're welcome too. I don't know if we're following each other on Twitter or not or whatever, but
she's not on Twitter.
What? All right, Kate, we're gonna have to work on that.
You gotta work on
I'm
that.
on there. I just don't be on there.
Oh, well, you got to come on. It's crazy. Twitter is a beast. Let me tell you, Twitter it's a new beast. It's a beast. Don't get it twisted.
You were talking about not watching TV. I'm sitting here in front of my TV. Look, this is
right.
I got
mine is on the floor.
I've been not watching TV for the longest. Like, probably my oldest is 14. I have been not watching TV since probably she was 2. I'm just not the first person that's going to come turn the TV on, but that's when it started. I started diving into those books. So I would prefer to sit on the corner on the corner of the couch and read a book than to watch TV.
Yeah, I don't.
It's so much on the TV though. I mean, as mothers, if you're going to allow your kids to watch TV, you have to watch TV. Because if you flip on Blue's Clues and find out that mommy and daddy and giraffe is with the elephant and the fly is with the like, what the hell is going on?
Do you hear me?
Was safe.
Do you hear
I was
me?
so offended.
No, the babies are not safe now.
Absolutely
not at all. And then enlighten. Well, again, it probably was happening when my internet was glitching, but the Pick Me podcast. What will we talk about on there again?
Oh, it's a conversation centered about us. So
yeah,
probably similar to this conversation tonight. I try to jump around topics. They're all centered in reparations because we're owed a debt, and they need to pick me, you, us. They need to pick us
and cut that check.
Cut the check.
Cut that check.
So, definitely black first, black centered conversations about pretty much anything. We do interviews sometimes. We've interviewed like Dr. Winters, Dr. Short, Sister Shahrazad Ali, Taisha, just people who want to come talk. I would love to talk to you about how you feel about things. I think that having uncomfortable conversations is what gets people to move.
Right.
And that whole pick me thing, they tried to make that bad, but I don't understand what's bad about wanting to be chosen. I feel like that's my ultimate destiny, is to have been chosen so that I can do the work that I'm supposed to do. Somebody chose me to be somebody's mom. That's excellent. I can't wait. I mean, really got 5.
Right. Yeah. So Kay used to have something, but she doesn't do it anymore, but I think we're going to bring it back. But she used to do coffee with Kay. And what she would do is get a man, right, and treat him to coffee and talk.
Oh, that's nice.
But talking about relationships between Black men and Black women. So it was Black centered, right? And so she started on Facebook, and the conversations would start, in the comments, then the DM, and she was like, I'm going to start Coffee with Kay. And then she would just, invite people, and it started weekly, where she was in, they'll meet at a coffee shop or something, or a restaurant, and they'll have those tough conversations, but it's one-on-one.
I love that. Kay, bring that back, please. I think that's great.
I'm working on it.
So yeah, we need Coffee with Kay back.
For For sure. I think that's great.
I'm gonna figure out, because I try to. I mean, they get recorded anyway, but I'll try to figure out just the general conversation part about it and see how we could kind of podcast it a little bit.
Okay.
Nice.
And
I love building.
Sincere said, I want coffee, so you're gonna be the first runner up.
Right. How long you gonna be down here, by the way?
Till tomorrow.
Let me come on camera. Peace, everybody. What's going on?
Peace.
Oh, you leaving tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, unless I figure out how to extend the flight, but I don't not do that. I don't usually stay for a short time.
Yeah, I'm definitely on deck for that, man. You know what I mean? We definitely want you to bring that back, and I'm a candidate. But let me just add on to some of the conversation from tonight, man. Y'all started, kind of talking about us as parents, gaining consciousness and, understanding who we are as a people and all of that stuff, and trying to instill certain values and principles into our children. And so I kind of wanted to tie that into the topic of tonight's show with the toxic mothers, because what I've learned that as a father, that's a difficult task when you're dealing with somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Trying to co-parent with, certain type of individual that undermines your duty as a father. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't share the same values, and that goes back to what people were saying earlier in the comments about choosing wisely in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that we could keep these families together, because that's the most important part. You know what I'm saying? For the children to grow up, with that strong family unit, mother and father, everybody under the same roof, everybody on the same wavelength, everybody on the same page. You know what I'm saying? As far as how the children are going to be raised and veered, and what principles are going to be instilled within them. But with those toxic mothers, man, and I know a lot of brothers, we deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And when you evolving as a person, you evolving as a man, and you want your children to be raised a certain way, and you have to try to overcome that obstacle, because everybody here mentioned, the power that those mothers have. You know what I'm saying? It's a powerful thing, but it can be used as a weapon, or it could be used as a tool. And so what we talking about tonight with the toxicity is definitely it's like the ultimate weapon. And I feel like a lot of times the mothers feel like they're doing something to the fathers, and not really understanding how much damage that they're doing to the children. But as fathers, I want to just say to the brothers out there, just, be encouraged and never give up, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? No matter what type of hoops you got to go through or whatever, never give up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? It's about your duty and your responsibility. That's those babies that you brought into the world. And so, you might not have been where you at today when you made that decision, when you laid down who you laid down with, and, brought those children into the world. But now you somewhere else. You evolved past that. You're not that same person anymore. And you want something different. You want to break those generational curses with your children, and you finding this obstacle that seems like a unmovable object, hindering your ability to do that. Never give up. Be creative as possible to try to climb that mountain and get over those hurdles, because it's your duty. It's our duty. You know what I'm saying? And even as the children start to age, because trying to figure that out, time is going by. You know what I'm saying? When we trying to figure those things out, time is flying by, and they don't stay babies forever. But even as they get older and they start transitioning into adulthood, it's still our job. It's still our role to play. And a lot of times when they do start to get to that age, if you were doing your job all along, they start to realize, you know what I'm saying? They start to look back and in hindsight realize some of the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And then it might be later in the game, but you have the ability to kind of reprogram it before it's too late.
Right.
So I just want to say that to the brothers.
Yeah, don't be discouraged, fellas. Absolutely. But I think to your point, whether the woman that they're laying with is a toxic mother or they come from a toxic mother, they have to be strong enough in themselves to say no. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, and I could be wrong, Sincere, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a man teaching the women how to treat him,
Say
and
it again. Repeat that.
I feel like we teach each other how to treat each other.
We do.
So he's teaching her how to treat him. She's teaching him how to treat her. And if it's bred on toxicity, then nobody's going to get the help that they need. Nobody's going to get the output that they're looking for because
Right.
they're looking for the wrong thing. Whoever their significant other is, whether it's the guy or the girl, they didn't come from what they're looking for. Like that foundation is missing.
Right. And the thing about it is, the only thing that we have the ability to change is ourselves. You're not going to be able to
Right.
change the other person.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
That part.
you have to work on healing and evolving to be the best version of yourself, and just like I said, continuing to find creative ways to do your duty.
Right. And I think that's a part of it too, is a lot of people are more focused on changing the other person than they are themselves. And my thing is if you're focused on yourself, your healing, a lot of times that healing will rub off on them or it'll magnetize, it will make them want to heal themselves or it will push them further apart from you, right? But
Right.
either way, you're going to get the answer that you should, or need either way.
Yeah. A lot of times, with the type of women that we talking about tonight, a lot of times your healing is, and it's like an assault to them. The fact that you have the nerve to evolve, especially y'all not together no more. And like I said, you might have been in one place at that time when y'all was together. Neither one of y'all wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
now you got your shit together. You know what I'm saying? You going through your healing process. You might be in a new relationship, healthy relationship. Now you got this new woman, wife, whatever. You treating her right and being all of the things that she felt like you were supposed to be to
You
her,
would. Mhm.
and she resents that. That makes her even more upset. The fact that you're a good father makes her more upset because it doesn't fit in with the narrative that she tells everybody about you.
Somebody else. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'll speak to that one again on story time. So, I remember, at some point this man felt like I'm gonna have a baby. So, I gotta go get a job, gotta do this. Technically it was his first job. First job, I remember he was scared to apply. I said apply anyway. And it was like the gas company. Got the job. I mean, it was temporary contract work, but you got the job. You
You
applied
got
in.
the job.
And so we had to wake up at 4 o'clock. You notice I said I was pregnant. And I remember one day he got ready for work and heard the mom in the kitchen say, "You got that girl getting up, driving you to work, and she pregnant." One, I ain't gonna lay around in the bed all day. Two, we got to
Right.
get to work.
Right.
We got to get to work. I could sleep later, but we got to get to
Right.
work. We
But
only
and had you not, it would still been a whisper. See, she know you need to get work, and she ain't
Yep.
stepped
That
up to
part.
help you out.
Make
She got a car and she know
you
you
warm
trying
up.
to work so you can be, yep.
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
so it's damned if you do, damned if you
Damned
don't.
if you don't.
That's why you
And
got to remove yourself from that toxic situation. I'm sorry.
mhm,
I really feel like her self-healing, your friend's self-healing will include him if she's strong enough to get her own.
Yeah,
And he'll go. I mean,
I'm
since
trying to encourage it.
it's a shame that it has to come to blows like this, but he started it. He started it when he allowed his mom to have this vocabulary against the woman he's laying with. Because
Mhm.
again, unless mama's trying to lay up with her son, she's got a husband, so she doesn't need that, or she's got that department taken care of. So now it's just who I have control over, and I don't have any of the rest of the kids to control. So I'm gonna lay it all thick on you. He started it. I'm sorry.
But from listening tonight, though, it sounds like in that particular situation, I think y'all mentioned a couple of times, she knows how to pick them.
Mhm.
And so the fact that she married is really, it doesn't make a difference. It's really insignificant because she probably got somebody, who could provide and, make things stable, but it's not who she really wants anyway. So
just
it's
saying.
still the
She's the
same.
provider. She's the provider.
Oh,
And the
so
idea of her husband even wanting a job is a threat to her. That
Goodness.
if this man talk about
So it's
putting the
just control.
application in,
yep,
control.
So it's just control.
Hmm.
she
There
got
it is.
she got an evil just in there that just wants to
Mhm.
control everything.
Hmm.
Definitely
And if I can't control you, I don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Oh, but I want you. I still want you because I need to show you that, I don't care about not being able to control. It's such a mind fuck that
Oh
women
man,
play.
y'all know these people. Yeah, y'all know
Oh,
these
Yeah.
people.
I know her.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just sad, Again, when I see, toxicity in relationships between black men and black women, especially to someone that I'm close to, it just hurts my soul because, it feel like it's right when we start the Pick Me Godcast and with the things that we're trying to combat. We're trying to, rebuild, the black family structure. So I try to give loving, encouraging advice, but I'm also stern too. You're right. You either man up or lose what you have. That's just where we are with it, buddy. Man up or lose what you have. But the expectation can't be for her to continue to sit in that and go through that because that's how she is and because you're scared to
That part.
man up because she's implanted in your head. She's planted fear in you. You're not going to make it. It's too hard out there. You're not going to make it. And why do you want to go rent an apartment and pay someone else's mortgage? These are the seeds that she plants. So they have fear, and I'm like, well, shit, if you can help her with her bills, you can pay your own bills, you can make your own rules. You guys can have your own family dynamic. You know what I mean? And that's what you need. Your son needs to know how to lead his family. He doesn't know how to lead because you haven't taught him how to lead because you've been his leader. He needs to get from under her wing so he can learn how to properly lead.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to chime in. This ain't my show right here. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Stop playing.
nah, great conversation tonight, man. I appreciate all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just Eve, appreciate you joining us, bringing your energy over here. We support what you do as well. Kay, I'm so glad that you decided to join the Pick Me Godcast and bring your knowledge and experience to the table as well. It's dope. Everything is working out perfectly. I love how this is going. And so look forward to more shows, man. You guys, everybody make sure that you shout out your social media, let everybody know where they can follow you, stuff like that. Website, anything that you got going on, put that
We
stuff
can
out
start
there.
with Eve. Let's start with Eve.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at Just Eve. I think it's actually at Justice for Just Us, but I think that if you type in Just Eve, I'll pop up. FBA Sunday School on Twitter. We're not really doing anything just yet, but we're coming. On YouTube, the Pick Me Podcast, or Just Eve on YouTube. I try to keep my Pick Me stuff separate from my political stuff, but again, since I'm always talking about reparations, they all just kind of all seems to be the same thing, just a different thumbnail. So definitely check me out. I appreciate being here. I love this conversation. I'd love to participate some more.
Thank you. Thank
What's
you.
up?
And Kay, where can folk follow you?
It's KAYE Jones on Facebook and Instagram. Y'all know I don't be social media. Apparently, somebody said I got to get a Twitter, so I
Yes,
have to.
Eve said you got to get a Twitter.
So I have to go find my login and log in and put the handles on there next time.
There you go.
And y'all know that y'all can follow me on Twitter at Nicety Girl and on Instagram at Nicety Girl with the number 1 at the end. Of course, Sincere and I do the Black Business Showcase here on YouTube at youtube.com/SincereluvdaGod. We have the Black Business Showcase on Wednesday 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Sundays, we do our current events. That's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about important topics as it pertains to Black society. Of course, we have our children's book series, 7, The Super Heru. That will be dropping soon, so pre-order now at www.godcastbooks.com. Also, you can get Sincere's latest, the greatest album of all times,
You
The
already know.
Masters, The Masters Table. You can get that at the mastersrsvp.com. Also, it is on all digital streaming platforms. The Masters Table, get it now.
Look at you.
Anything
Look
I
at
forget?
you. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Acting like a host, a
I
co-host.
like
in
it. I like
there.
Look, y'all, I'm usually quiet and nobody knows this. Believe it or not, no one believes me. I don't like this. I don't like talking in public. I feel like I'm country. I'm awkward. I'm super nervous. So sometimes I stutter. I look away.
Say what?
This is really not my thing. It's just really
you right, though.
It is now.
Thank
Me
you.
either.
Thank you.
I don't like it.
Yes, I feel so awkward. Y'all have no idea. Like, woosah. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Pick Me Godcast. As I mentioned, I will be on the Pick Me podcast next Wednesday. Next week.
9:30.
And what time?
9:30 Eastern Standard.
So that's 6:30 my time.
There you go, 6:30 your time. I will definitely let you know the topic beforehand. Kate, get your Twitter set up beforehand. Great for
We're
you.
gonna get you in some good trouble.
I'm saying, but we always get in trouble over on the Pick Me.
Get you in some good trouble over there in the Twitter world, honey.
Oh boy.
For sure. Yes, definitely do that. I can't wait. I can't wait for next week. I think it'll be an excellent build.
Absolutely.
Build on what we've been talking about. Toxic femininity needs to always get the light shined on it, and then roaches.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. Well, do I say this, Arthur? We are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. Thank you all for tuning in to the Pick Me Godcast. Peace and Black love.
Black first.
Be one.